Hey guys, welcome back to another Duviri Max Out episode where today, as per the request of someone in the comments, we are going to be focusing on Nezha. Now, Nezha is another frame that I do not use very often in Warframe. I think there are other frames that perhaps do her job slightly better and can be a bit quicker in missions, hence I kind of, avoid her. But considering that most of the missions in Steel Path Circuit are either time capped, like we have to actually get to a specific time, or they are kill dependent, and we're only in a certain area, we don't have to actually travel through a tile set, Nezha might be a pretty good frame for this. So, what does Nezha do? Well, basically, she just sets everything on fire, and she slides everywhere. That's pretty much what we need to know. She does have quite a bit of endurance on the go as well. She can use her warding halo to, pretty much just soak up damage, regardless of whatever's going on, and then Blazing Chakram for even more damage. We're not going to be using her fourth ability, I don't think, for this. It can be quite useful for crowd control, but I just don't see it being that useful in this context, to be honest. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage as fourth abilities go, and any Xmas units or, the Thrax enemies that come at us are going to ignore this completely. It's just not going to help us, I don't think. So we're going to leave this be for the time being. We'll probably sub in either Nourish, Eclipse, maybe Zarta's Whisper on here. We'll see what's going to fit best. But yeah, basically, we're probably actually going to be not using Umbral mods for this, since we're going to want to slot on Archon Vitality up here, because obviously heat damage is going to be greatly affected by Archon Vitality. So yeah, that's the first thing to note. Although we could throw on maybe Umbral Fiber and Umbral Intensify. That might help us out a bit. So yeah, let's get down to business. In terms of weapons I've chosen for this week, we've gone with the Tenet Flux rifle, Kuva Kraken, and Tenet Exec. These are three weapons which I need to get formed up anyway, just for maxing purposes and getting mastery rank in the door. So yeah, these are the ones that we are going to go with, and all of these weapons are primarily status based, which again is quite good for Steel Path Circuit. So yeah. Yeah, in fact, this guy, even without this, 29%. Not bad crit chance, but, maybe we'll do crit on the Tenet Exec. It does have quite a high crit chance, so, yeah. That's probably one that we will focus on. So, let's just get into it. It should be fairly quick this weekend, as we do have the event Affinity Booster, so, yeah, that should save me quite a bit of time this episode, at least. That's nice. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys once we have a build for our Nezha Prime. I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, so everything should be nice and leveled up now, and I've gone ahead and just done the weapons at the same time, just to save a bit of time each episode now. We can cut down a bit. So yeah, let's have a quick look through, see what we're working with. I have gone with a just max strength here, not really focusing on range at this point. I'm going to test it with Firewalker with the lesser range. Obviously the explosion radius is going to be significantly reduced, but I think we'll be fine with that. I am just going to be running around, leaving a trail of fire everywhere, and I'm more concerned about duration than I am with range. So, we've gone ahead, we've got two augment mods on here. So we've got Controlled Slide for an extra 15% ability strength, and getting rid of that slide passive ability that Nezha has. I'm not a huge fan of passive abilities that affect movement, because obviously in my head, everything now is kind of muscle memory in terms of how I move around, and when something like that changes, I find it quite annoying. So, the fact that we get an extra 15% and we can get rid of Nezha's passive is pretty good in my mind. So yeah, we've gone with that, and obviously it only takes up 7 capacity rather than 9 if you were to use Power Drift. So yeah, all in all, pretty good one. And then I've also put on Pyroclastic Flow. Again, I'm going to see how this pans out. If it's not great, then we'll take it off, but hopefully it'll be pretty good. And then, yeah, Archon Vitality, obviously, to apply heat effects twice. I've also put on Arcane Phantasm. I'm curious to see how well this plays out, but we're going to get an extra 60% speed on block, so when we're just running around, we've got to make sure we have our melee weapon out, and that way, when we deflect any bullets that come in, there's a good chance that we are going to be, our speed is going to increase, which is going to allow us to spread Firewalker around a bit better. That's the only reason I've got that on. It's just a bit of a test for now. We'll see what happens. I've also, like I said, thrown on Nourish onto my fourth ability here. Although this is, not going to be crazy good, I don't think. I'm hoping that Firewalker is going to be able to apply this, or at least it should apply this. So obviously enemies will take a viral proc anytime they step into our fire, which will be quite nice. We'll have to see how how it plays out in the end. But yeah, with the duration level and the strength level we've got on here, I think this should end up being pretty good. And obviously I've got Energize on as well. Weapons-wise, we got our Flux Rifle here. This is just a simple joint crit status build. I've got 2 status mods on here to get that up a bit, and Galvanized Aptitude as well. Everything else geared towards damage and multi-shot. And then I've also got Rifle Ammo Mutation on here. There's not really a whole lot of point putting Stabilizer onto the Flux Rifle, just because it doesn't have much recoil at all, this thing. So yeah, we're going to leave it as is. For the Kuva Kraken, on the other hand, I have gone ahead and put Steady Hands on because this thing kicks like crazy. We've got multi-shot on, and again, a joint crit status build with Galvanized Aptitude. So yeah, again, should be a ton of damage. And on both of these, we've got the Merciless Arcanes, so should be good. Tenet Exec, we've gone ahead and yeah, a crit build here. 121.6% crit chance with just Sacrificial Steel on, and Organ Shatter, as well as, yeah, various other bits and bobs. I put Primed Reach on here as this weapon does have a pretty high range, so should be decent, I think. And yeah, I've gone with Corrosive on all of these just because we're going to be applying Viral from probably any frame that we get, to be honest. So yeah, that's that, guys. So what we've got to do now, we've got to go ahead and sort out the fashion frame for our Nezha, and then we will jump in and see if we can get any of these items in the Steel Path circuit rotation. Alright guys, here she is, and we're going with a bit of a kind of demon vibe here with the Yaksha skin, which is another Tenno Gen 1. There wasn't a lot really that I could do with Nezha, mainly because of the ring on her back. So in terms of Syandanas, I have actually just gone with the Red Veil Syandana, as it kind of provides a bit more fieriness to the build, as Nezha is, you know, based around fire. And it fits within her little her ring on her back, which I thought was quite fun. No collision whatsoever, which is good, because when we come into a game, if there's going to be any collision, then it's going to drive me mad. So yeah, left that be. And then also she's got quite a lot of detailing on her legs as well, with a lot of circles already. So I have gone with the Alastorn leg plates again, which sit above on the thigh and kind of add a bit of detail up there, which is quite nice. No chest on this one, just the Static Reactor Prime Sigil to add a bit more kind of depth, I guess, and movement to the frame. And then our clan emblems on the shoulder plates, which are the Asakage shoulder plates. They are Tenno Gen. Also, they're the first Tenno Gen armor that I've actually bought. Everything else so far this series has been just platinum based. So yeah, all in all, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking the demon vibes on it. It's cool. But let's see how well she performs in the Steel Path circuit. So we'll wait until she pops up in our rotation, and then we'll start the recording. I'll catch you guys in a second. Alright guys, here she is, and now we can go ahead and pick up our weapons. We actually also got our Nidus on this rotation as well, which is good to see. Starting to see stuff come through a bit more regularly. Not on the weapons front, mind you. Not too much to go with here. I think we'll go ahead and take the Aephuris, as that does have Galvanized Shot, which is going to be very useful for us. Let's take the Praedos as well, why not? And then primary weapon-wise, we do not have a lot to go with. I think probably Tenet Envoy is going to be the logical choice here, or Nagantaka. In fact, let's go with the Nagantaka. That seems reasonable. So that might be quite funny. Fleet-footed movement speed right off the bat, but we'll probably get that again a bit later on. It's not so important to begin with, so maybe Nourishing Terror. Maybe Deadly Momentum, actually. That might be quite a good idea. Let's go with that, because we are going to be moving basically the whole time. Be good to keep that stacked up at 50%. So yeah, we'll keep going, guys. We'll just run through this as long as we can, and cut back when we're at a reasonable position, I guess. Alright, guys. So I am now on my second round of survival. And as you can see, stuff just kind of dies from Nezha's fire. I've also got any decrees that kind of increase damage to status. I've got Close Contagion now, only recently though, which allows the fire to spread a bit easier. Obviously our range is very, very low, but with Close Contagion, it doesn't matter. The enemies are going to die. And yeah, using our first ability, obviously recasts to get insane damage. and anything that walks into that will die. So what we can do, I do have Magus Anomaly on, which can obviously pull in enemies. So I'll demonstrate this once we're kind of fully stacked up again. This is kind of how I've been doing the defense missions. Is that, yeah, I'm letting it just kind of stack up to maximum really. And then we'll recast R1 to put down our line of insane fire damage, which lasts for, I believe, 10 seconds. Might be slightly longer, actually, with the mods we have on, but, you know, we'll see. So let's do something like this, and then we can kind of just pull enemies into it, and they die instantly, as you can see. Like, instantly. It's ridiculous damage. Which does make defense missions unbelievably easy. And yeah, we don't die as well, due to our third ability, which is also very nice. So yeah, all in all, Nezha actually a very, very strong frame for this. I would say especially so if you do not have weapons, perhaps, to go with it. I have barely been using my weapons at all in these missions, because I can just run around, set everything on fire. It spreads. I have decrees that allow me to deal more damage depending on how many enemies are affected by status effects, which in turn adds more damage, and the cycle is kind of never-ending. And you can see even the Thrax enemies, when I use this volcanic eruption, it's just, they die. There's no chance. So yeah, all in all, guys, this is probably shaping up to be my favourite one now. I'm not going to lie. This has been really, really fun. I can just run around and not even think about it. So yeah, I'm going to keep going, and we will see where we can get to overall, and then I'll catch you guys back in the orbiter. Alright guys, so I know this is a bit of a shorter video, but I do want to keep the time on these down in future. I want to keep you guys kind of engaged and not have too much talky bits like we're about to have now. But overall, Nezha, a very, very, very good frame in my opinion. No need for weapons, you know, if you get her, you don't have to worry about what weapons you get. If you get good weapons, all the better, you know, you can combine that with what you've got. But yeah, by using her pyroclastic flow, you can just annihilate every enemy in sight. Arcane Phantasm wasn't overly useful for me there. I did use it a bit to begin with to get my speed up, but then I also got the increased movement speed per decree found, and it kind of became irrelevant after a while. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. There's not much more to say on this. You saw kind of the destruction just by putting enemies in. Let me just quickly show you what that was for those of you who are unaware. So on my operator here, we do have Magus Anomaly on. Enemies are pulled towards you within 30 meters. So by doing that, obviously, when we recast our first ability to create pyroclastic flow, we have that nice straight line of just insane fire damage, and we can just pull enemies into it very, very quickly. So on defense missions, we can get through them very fast. And yeah, you basically just want to be going for all the status effect decrees, you know, increased status damage depending on how many enemies are affected around you. Close contagion to spread it, anything like that. It works absolutely brilliantly on Nezha, and yeah, she is unkillable again with her third ability. Nourish, you could easily swap out for something else. I think this is, you know, just what I put on because I had nothing better to do. But yeah, there's something that could go on there that would be much better, I'm sure. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave down any future suggestions in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.